Hello guys, welcome to Inspiring Minds. Today we are going to talk about that 1 mark, the importance of 1 mark. As you have already read in the title, today we are going to talk about the value and the importance of that 1 mark. Be it any exam, USMLE, MCI, NEET PG, or any sort of exam, be it is competitive exam, qualifying exam, or screening exam. So now primarily we are going to talk about the MCI because that is what is there in everyone's mind. So right now I'm going to focus more on the preparation strategy and the importance of that 1 mark. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So before we proceed on, I just want to give you the highlights and the index. So if you just want to go over to that particular topic, you can just hop on there. Firstly, I'm going to tell you why 1 mark, what is exactly the value of 1 mark, and how we can get over that. So we are going to talk about the planning, the retrospective approach, and the revision, and if someone who hasn't started yet, how to start, and then the mock test and the test series, then revision hour, and in the end I'm going to tell you something bonus, which is the edge hour. So yes, what is this hype around the 1 mark? Okay, so let's try to figure it out. Someone who has scored 140 out of 300 or someone who has scored 160 out of 300. As a result, you will see that the person who has scored 140 and the one who has scored 160, there is a huge difference. But let me be very frank with you, as there are many factors that decide the score, but I can guarantee you and I can assure you that there is no difference in the knowledge of someone who has scored 140 and also someone who has scored 160. But for you, you will see there is a difference of 20 marks. So how can we say that there is no difference in terms of the knowledge? Yes, there is no difference in knowledge, but there is difference in the strategy, in the hard work, and in the luck. Yes, luck plays a major role. You have to understand that, but fortune always favor the brave. Okay, so now I am someone who was lucky. Maybe I just got all my score because of my luck, but I personally feel that yes, it does play a major role as long as you have worked hard and worked smart. So now I'm going to tell you, as you can see here as well in the PDF, I've just analyzed last 2 results. Those were on the website. If we talk about 140 to 149, there are almost 2,500 students, those who just get in this range, 140 to 149. So you can imagine, if you put in the right efforts and the strategies, you can surely get over the 150 mark and you can be on that successful side. That is how our system is, so we cannot run away from it. This is something I don't want to talk about, but this is how it is. Now, how we can cope up with it? Like, what all should be the strategies and the tricks that can help you get over this 1 mark thing? First of all, planning. Planning should be like, it has to be to the minutest of the detail. For example, it has to be on the monthly basis, on the weekly basis, on the daily basis, and also you should know that what you're going to do in the next coming 1 hour, like just after the video, what you're going to do. Till that point, you have to plan each and everything. And most important thing is the reverse planning, the retrospective planning. And what it is, for example, you have a tentative exam date in your mind, so you have to start planning from that day. Rather than going from today till the exam day, you have to apply the reverse planning, and you have to see at what date you have your exam and how many days you are left with, and what all things you are actually going to do on the exam day, 1 day before the exam, 3 days before the exam, 1 week before the exam, 15 days before the exam, and 1 month before the exam. So this thing will actually force you to see that you actually have very, very limited time. Okay, so limited time means limited content, and limited content with multiple revisions. So that is what is going to help you immensely. Okay, so this strategy or this approach will actually give you an insight as to what all time you're left with and what all things you have to cover, and then you can make your own strategy. If you need any help, you can just click on top and you can see the 80 days and 90 days strategy, in which I have mentioned the segmental approach. So for an example, how you have to read, for example, in the first reading, in the second reading for any particular subject, let's take an example of surgery. So surgery in the first reading will take minimum around 10 to 15 days, but you have to read same surgery in the approach of as to how you are going to read the same surgery, same subject, just 1 day before the exam, 2 days before the exam, 1 week before the exam, or even on the exam day, just before the second paper. So if you will start making your strategy in that aspect, you will see what all things are actually necessary and where all you have to put in that focus, and the most dedicated part should be on those things. Okay, so you cannot revise each and every word and each and every line of your notes or any textbook on the exam day. So you have to make your strategy according to that. So now let's come to how to start. Like if someone is starting fresh, how to start. I am against the concept of starting with the bigger subjects. Many people tell you to go with the bigger subjects and finish the major chunk before, but I don't follow that, because personally, if someone who hasn't started yet, for me the most important thing for that person is to have that courage and confidence that yes, I can do it too. So for that, start with the minor subjects. For example, very short subjects like derma, anesthesia, psychiatry, and take the medicine as well, like the first part of medicine along with these subjects. And don't focus or don't devote complete days or weeks for any particular subject. You always have to study in the segments. So that same approach I have told you, so you can go and watch this video about that. We talk about in our Telegram groups as well, so you can just find the link for the Telegram group and join it for more details about that strategy. And basically I just want that confidence and momentum for anyone who is starting fresh, that yes, I also want to do it and I can do it too. So start with the subjects that take lesser time, and so that slowly and steadily you can move towards the bigger subjects as well. Like triple P is very important, PPP, which is physiology, pathology, pharmacology. They do consider a major chunk, and that also you have to study in the segment so that you cover all the subjects together along with the medicine, so that you can interrelate and integrate all the subjects together, because most of the topics are in all the subjects, okay, in all 3-4 subjects which we have discussed, triple PM. So if you read any topic, for example for physiology, same topic should be read in pathology, and same for that the drugs and the regime has to be read in pharmacology, and same concept again as a whole would be in medicine as well. So that is how you can cover all these 4 subjects in minimum time, but with an integrated approach. So that is going to help you a lot. Now the test series and the mock test, yes, that is very important, because you have heard me saying many a times the 20-80 approach. What it is, 20% of the topics are most important, like the high yield ones, like the highest yield ones. If I have to tell you frankly, for any exam, that is the major rule. Like if you will take on the any previous year question paper or the sample paper or any mock test, you will see that 80% of any exam would be from the 20% most high yield concepts of all the subjects. Okay, for example, if you're reading any subjects, let's say psychiatry. So psychiatry also would have 20 to 30% of the most high yield concepts, and those 20-30% will cover the 70 to 80% of the syllabus in the exam. Like the questions would be from those topics itself. So that approach, if we have to find the high yield content in the topic, we have to start solving more and more MCQs and start giving more and more mock tests, so that we get to know like what all topics are very important from the exam point of view. Because we have to see, I have already discussed it many times before, while reading we have to see and imagine from an examiner's point of view, like can this question be asked, could this question be in my exam on the exam day? If yes, what all things would be asked out of this particular topic. So that is how you have to read. Now the revision hour. Revision hour is something which is very important. Now revision hour should be the first hour in the morning, the first hour in the morning. Once you wake up, once you freshen up, the moment you touch your books, it should be that 1 hour for revision. And when I talk about the revision, it is not the passive revision, it is not the passive recall, it has to be the active recall. And what active recall is, you have to sit and you have to just remind yourself, like, what did you read yesterday, what did you read 1 week before, and what did you read 1 month before. So when you will sit down and when you will imagine what all I have read before, then you'll be like, oh, I'm not confident in this topic though I have read it before. So that is when you have to go back to your notes and you have to find it out, that what did you read that day and why you still don't remember it. Because on the exam day you won't get the question subject wise or topic wise, all the questions would be mixed up. So if you just can't remember something you have read a day before, how can you remember everything on the exam day? Are you getting it? So this is the concept. When we start on revising our notes, which we have already written it ourselves, we tend to feel like, oh yes, I remember this. Let's go on to the next page, next topic. So you will just finish off with the subjects and you'll go on to the next subject and so on and so forth. But it won't be that beneficial. It has been proved scientifically as well that active recall helps you the most. In active recall, you have to imagine, okay, I have read that topic, what all questions could be there, can I remember it? If you want, I can make a separate dedicated video for that too. Okay, so you have to go on with the active recall revision strategy. Now the bonus step, the edge hour. Edge hour is something which will at least help you with 10 to 15 marks. I can guarantee you this. Edge hour is something just before you want to sleep, take 1 hour and start revising all the things that are highly volatile, the things that you feel you will forget, the values that you have to remember, the facts that you have to remember, because still in MCI there are around 70-80 one-liners, direct questions that you just have to get them right. But if you will not revise those particular things in the exam, most of the time you will go for the wrong option. Like out of 4 options you will get to know, like, yes, these 2 are correct, but out of these 2 you won't be able to get the right answer every time. If you have to get the right answer most of the times, then you have to devote 1 hour, which is an edge hour, every day for the same things, so that when you start doing it repeatedly for 80-90 days, if you will cover, let's say, 10 topics, 10 factual things, 20 factual things daily, this way you can easily cover 150 to 200 things, out of which 50-60 questions would surely be in the exam. So right now you will feel like, no, I have to read any subject, but I'm telling you, the edge hour will actually help you the most to get over that score. So these were my tips and tricks that are actually gonna help you with the 1 mark thing. Now, after listening to all these things to your seniors, you will realize that what is the importance of that 1 mark. So if you have really understood, if you think this video has helped you in any way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please give this video a huge thumbs up and do share it with all your friends, those who are gonna write the exam this time with you or in the coming years, so that let's start helping more and more students. It really takes a lot of effort for us to help you guys. So we just want you to please don't forget to share and subscribe. That is all you can do. We don't expect anything else. So please don't disappoint us, because your things actually encourage us to keep on doing such things, so that all of you can get benefited out of it. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.